Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rory and today I want to talk to you about something a little bit different. For those of you who don't know, I am primarily a wedding filmmaker. I also do corporate and real estate and things like that, but mostly a wedding filmmaker, and I also do some travel videos here on YouTube. But today I wanted to run through all the gear that I use on a wedding day, and talk a bit about why I use each piece of equipment. Now, I'm not a stickler for any particular brand. I don't necessarily always want to have the most expensive, latest thing, but I do want to make sure that I produce really high quality films because it is my primary source of income. I don't mind spending good money on good equipment, provided it's going to do the job that I want it to. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it. On the table here is pretty much everything I use. I do have a couple of other bits of equipment that I'm using to actually film this video here, but I'll talk about that as I come to it. I'll start off with the cameras. So if you're new to the channel here, you won't know, but if you're not new, you will know. I normally use the Panasonic S5 cameras. So I've got one here. This main angle here is also filming on a Panasonic S5, but I really love this camera. It produces really beautiful images. I've got no issues with it. It's certainly on the cheaper end, but when it comes to like professional level cameras, but produces beautiful 4K 10-bit images in Vlog, which I mean, what more can you want? So the other camera that I do use, so I've got two of these. I've got this one here. I've got that camera there. This camera that's filming this angle up here is actually a Panasonic GH5. I mainly use this as like a C angle for like the ceremony or speeches, things like that. So the two S5s are my two main cameras that I use pretty much all day, and then the GH5 is, yeah, just a spare camera. I use it in corporate and real estate stuff as well. So yeah, I'll leave that there. So yeah, moving on to the lenses. Now I'll start with the GH5 lenses that I use. I actually only bring two lenses with me on a wedding day. The 16mm Sigma, which it's filming on right now, and also the 42.5mm Olympus lens here. So this gives me actually like 3 or 4 focal lengths that I really want to use. So because of the different crop modes on the GH5, you've got a 35mm and a 50mm with the 16mm lens, and then an 85mm with this one, and you can even go up to about 135mm with it as well. Although I generally find that 85mm is fine, especially for a ceremony when I want to cut across to the bride's face from the edge. Yeah, that's pretty much the only two lenses I bring with this. They're nice and small and lightweight, so they fit easily in the bag. Now, as far as lenses go for the S5, my favorite lens that I've ever used on any camera ever is the Lumix 24-70, which I'm actually filming on right now, but 90% of my wedding day is going to be filmed on that. Now, for ceremony and speeches, I've got this big one here. It's actually a Canon lens. It's a Canon 7200 2.8 with an adapter on it. Because I don't need autofocus, this is fine. It produces a really beautiful image. It's great for speeches when you want to stay out of the way of all the guests, so you can shoot across the top of everybody. Great for ceremony as well, for once again staying out of people's way and shooting across the top of everybody. I also have a Sigma 35mm 1.4. I'll use this for bridal prep or the groom prep if I'm in a really tight space and I want to get really shallow depth of field. Oftentimes you'll find that in these rooms it's quite cluttered in the background and you want to cut as much of that out as you can. So that's where this lens comes in. You can just blur the background out completely. Don't have to worry about going around and cleaning up after everybody. You can get a really nice, soft, beautiful image. So I really like this one. And the other lens I bring, which I don't use as much, but I do quite like it, is actually this Rokinon 85mm. It's a Canon mount, but once again, I can just put the adapter onto this. It's not my favorite lens, but it actually produces like a really nice, soft image. So for the portrait session, if you want to get something really nice and soft and arty, I really quite like using this lens. So it stays in my bag. It doesn't get used on every wedding, but when I do use it, I really enjoy using it. So while I'm talking about lenses, obviously I bring lens cloths with me. You need those all the time. And I have a rocket blower with me as well to blow any dust out of the camera or the lens. I also have the Peter McKinnon variable ND filter that goes on the Lumix 24-70. I actually don't use a variable ND all the time. I'm actually quite happy to just crank the shutter if I need to, because there's not that much fast moving things on a wedding day. So keeping to that 180-degree rule, it doesn't actually matter too much. But on a really, really bright sunny day, I will bring this out just to help to cut down a little bit of that stutterness when you're having to push the shutter speed super duper high. Keeping on with cameras, I have the DJI Air2S. This is actually a relatively new addition. I was running the DJI Mavic Mini, but wasn't super happy with the image quality out of that. Because I'm doing quite a lot more real estate stuff now, I've upgraded to the Air2S, and I couldn't be happier. The image out of this is incredible. It produces 10-bit image in D-Log, which means I can match this with the S5 colors really, really easily. For the money, honestly, you can't get a better drone at the moment. I think it blows the DJI Mavic 2 Pro out of the water. See what they'd come up with the Pro 3, but I mean, really, as a wedding filmmaker, you don't need anything more than this. This is going to be enough drone for anybody. Cool, so that is the camera side of it. Obviously, I bring batteries. This isn't all my batteries. I bring a ton of batteries. You can never have too many batteries. I also bring a power bank with me as well, because you never know when you're going to need to plug something in. The good thing about the S5s is you actually can run them off a power bank. So should you forget to charge a battery, or you use more battery than you thought you were going to, the power bank is a really handy thing to have. So yeah, let's move on to the audio. Now, for a wedding film, audio is arguably far more important than video. You want to be able to hear the speeches, you want to be able to hear the vows, all the little bits and pieces throughout the day. So for me, audio is one of the most important things for me to have in my bag, and I want to make sure I use really good quality equipment. So I've got a pair of headphones there, so I can plug in and monitor the audio if I need to, just to make sure that the line that I'm getting out of the DJ's board is good. For miking up the bride and the groom and the celebrant, I use the Rode Wireless 2 Go's. Now these basically are, in each one you get 2 transmitter units, which you can plug lav mics into, which I have here. So the lav mic plugs into that, and then it sends the signal to this, which plugs into the camera. It records internally to the actual transmitter units, as well as recording to your footage that's in the camera. Records in 32-bit in the internal units. So, and I've had no problem with these cutting out or dropping out or anything like that. So these are actually a very, very, very good unit, and I really love using them. I used the original one for probably a year and a half before these came out. I have 2 units because often I need to mic up more than 2 people, but like in a pinch, you could get away with just 1 unit and just mic up the celebrant and the groom. Oftentimes I will be using the audio straight out of the celebrant's PA anyway, but these are a great unit. You can even, like during speeches and stuff, I actually gaff tape one of these to the microphone that they're holding so that you have a backup in case anything happens, because you never know when the DJ's audio is going to be terrible. Not every DJ uses great equipment. The ones that do, you can normally be pretty safe to get a good signal out of them, but the ones that don't, and you get back to post and they're static through all your footage, you want to commit heinous crimes against that DJ. I also have this little Zoom H1N. This is great if you're going to have somebody that's going to be reading from like a podium or something during the ceremony. You can just pop this on the podium, and that way you're guaranteed to get it. Or if they've got like a string quartet or a band or maybe an acoustic singer, you can just pop this nearby to them and you're going to get pretty good audio out of it. So don't use this all the time, but I always have it in my bag just in case. With the lav mics, I've actually got 3 of the Rode, what are they? The Rode, I'm not sure which ones they are. They're the cheap ones, about $100 Australian you can get these for, but they produce really good quality audio. I'm actually wearing one right now to film this. Pretty much all my videos are filmed using this mic. I'm really happy with the quality out of it. I've actually got one of the wireless Go's on right now as well. So what you're hearing is actually audio straight from that system. That's my second set of them. So I've also got this, the Tascam DR60mkii. Now this is an external audio recorder. So you have XLR inputs, which also double as 3/4 inch jack inputs, and you have a 3.5mm input as well. I really like this because it dual records, so you get a safety track in case it blows out the audio for whatever reason. And it also has phantom power, so if you're doing corporate work and you want to plug in like the Ronin T5, which I use for voiceovers quite a lot, then you can do that as well. So I'm really happy with this little unit. It records really well, really high quality audio, never have a problem with the quality that comes out of this. If there's ever a problem with quality, it's not to do with this, it's to do with the PA that I'm plugging it into. What have we got next? So these are the Rycote stickies. You obviously want to hide the lavaliere mics on the groom because you don't want them to show up in all the photos, or the photographer will want to murder you because they're having to edit out all your lav mics in all their pictures. But so yeah, basically these, if you haven't seen these before, they're very cheap. Basically you get these little felt things. You get this little sticky part. So the sticky part attaches to the clothes. You pull the back of the sticky part off, put the microphone there, and then the felt goes over the top of the microphone. And that basically stops any kind of rustling noise from it rubbing against the clothes or anything like that. And it hides it out of the way, and you get really good quality audio from it as well. So yeah, definitely need a set of those if you're going to be laving people up. If you want to keep your lav mics out of the way and stop people from being able to see them. Then I have two of the Rode Video Micros. These mics are actually pretty good for how much they cost. They are mainly used for scratch audio, so during the ceremony and speeches, for two of the other cameras, I'll have these on it just so I can sync the audio up in post. But when I'm filming bridal prep and things like that, I'll also have this attached to the camera, and that way you can get kind of like the interactions from everybody as well, and it ends up sounding really good. So yeah, really happy with these. I really enjoy using them. So they stay in my bag. They're nice and light, nice and small, nice and cheap. Then I've just got a bag of cables. So never rely on the DJ or the celebrant to have cables for you. So you want to make sure that you've got every possible cable combination to be able to plug your external recorder in, because you can guarantee that if you get there, they're only going to have like a 3.5mm out and you've only got XLR cables. So I make sure I've got everything in there. All right, let's move along to stabilization. So for most of the morning, I'm actually on my monopod. So this is a monopod made by a company called Promaster, which I think is I've only seen it available in Australian stores, but to be honest, it works perfectly fine. So it's seen better days. I've had it for quite a while now, but it's got a very cheap video head on here, which to be honest, I don't use that often. But it does the job fine. All I want it to do is hold my camera still and save my back a little bit during prep. And also during the ceremony as well, I will put this center aisle, and so I can easily move it around after I've captured the bride walking down the aisle and the groom's reaction and everything like that. So definitely need a monopod in your bag if you don't have one already. They will save your back, and they're really nice and light and easy to move around, and yeah, definitely get one if you can. Tripods, I carry with me 2 tripods on a wedding day. These are Promaster tripods, just like the monopod. They're cheap, but they do the job. I carry 2 with me. The second one is actually, the camera's holding it right now, but yeah, nothing much to say about them. They work fine, happy with them. Other camera stabilization is the DJI Ronin RS2. Now, I've had a few gimbals in my time. This is my favorite one I've ever owned. The stabilization out of this is amazing. It's light. I use this on almost every shoot. I actually don't use a gimbal a lot during a wedding day, but for the shots I do use it for, this has been the best gimbal ever. So if you're in the market for a new gimbal, definitely look at the Ronin RS2. I've had Zone gimbals before and I was really happy with my crane until it, basically with the front heavy lens on this one, it just wasn't handling it as well. So went for this big boy and yeah, couldn't be happy with it. It's great. I use it for every wedding, every real estate, every corporate. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful gimbal. Then other stabilization, I guess you could say, is light stands. So I do light my weddings. If you're not lighting your weddings, you should seriously consider lighting your weddings because you will have a much funner time editing them. I've just got these cheap Neewer stands. I carry 3 with me for the 3 different lights that I use throughout the day. So I'll show you those lights now, I guess. Before I do, if you're going to have light stands, make sure you have sandbags, because there would be nothing worse than having grandma trip over a light stand, taking the whole thing down, and you breaking grandma's back and then being responsible for that. Not just legally, but like, you don't want to be responsible for that. So definitely have light bags. So lighting. This bag contains everything for lighting that I use during a wedding day. So we'll open it up and have a look. Now this is a new light for me. I've only just recently got it, but the Aputure LS60X, this is going to become basically my go-to light for any kind of wedding. It has spotlight, beam light, bi-color. You can change it all from your phone. It's going to be an incredible light. I'm going to use it for most of the wedding day, especially for lighting speeches, because geez, speeches look good when they're lit properly. So if you haven't been lighting your speeches, then definitely get on to doing that. I also have these, which I've been using for about a year now, which are the, what are they? Torch LED lights. So these are great. They produce a really big, bright, wide flood pattern. Not so good for lighting speeches, but for lighting the dance floor, these are amazing. If you put one on each corner coming across and then you film from any angle that way, it's going to look beautiful. So yeah, definitely consider lighting your wedding. So with those 3 lights, I use 3 light stands. They're quick and easy to set up, quick and easy to pack down, nice and light, don't take up a ton of space in the bag. And there you have it. So I guess I'll talk about the bags I use as well. This one here, this is a big Neewer Lightstand Bag. Basically all my tripods, gimbal, monopod, the lighting bag all go in here. It's got wheels on the bottom, which is really handy because you can never get a park anywhere near where the ceremony is. So yeah, definitely you want a light stand bag. You don't want to be carrying around tripods just in your arms. I also have the classic YouTuber Promaster low pro bag. This has been all around Southeast Asia with us, strapped to the back of a motorbike. It's been through rainstorms, it's been dropped, it's been in airplane like the bottom of an airplane. It's been through a lot, and it still looks basically almost brand new. So yeah, definitely highly recommend this bag, just as a rugged bag. I carry most of this stuff in here, the stuff that I don't need access to straight away. So a lot of the audio gear, the drone, a lot of my lenses all stay in this bag throughout the day. And then finally, the bag that's with me all the time is this Peak Design sling bag. It's nice and professional looking, which is good for a wedding day. I carry one of my S5s with the lens. I carry the 35mm lens in there as well. I carry also a set of the wireless goes in there and one of the video micros. So that's everything that I need for things like bridal prep and things like that. So I can move around quickly without having to carry a bunch of big bags into each venue as I arrive. But yeah, so that is everything that I use on a wedding day. I hope you guys found that useful. If you have any questions about any of the gear, or you'd like to know anything more about any of that stuff, then let me know in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, I just want to kind of go through everything, talk about why I used each thing, and I really enjoy watching these videos from other people, so I thought maybe some people might enjoy watching them from me. So yeah, if you did, hit subscribe, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, keep it to yourself, I don't care. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.